yeah, if you just hold everything constant, if you don't keep expanding the money supply, then Bitcoin will probably continue this adoption like this. When those start getting allocated over, just think about that. That's over $600 trillion of value in the world right now. If you just get just a fraction of that into Bitcoin, Bitcoin doubles, triples, quadruples overnight. We talk about having the strategic reserve. If that happens, well, now you've got game theory. You've got all the other sovereigns that feel like they've got to own some too. So I full agreement with David that, yeah, if you just hold everything constant, if you don't keep expanding the money supply, then Bitcoin will probably continue this adoption like this. But if you continue to expand the money supply, which we believe that it's just no way around that, and you now have a different structural adoption change, like it's a sea change of adoption in the investment world of this new asset, it becomes something that will break from those models. I know that Michael Saylor likes to say all your models will be broken, really talking about hyper Bitcoinization. I don't think we even need that for it to break through some of these. So that's kind of, but the models are important. It helps us manage risk, and they're self-fulfilling prophecies. People closely watch these and monitor them, and they trade around them. So it gives us opportunity to move in and out of positions and risk management strategies while we watch those. So they are important, but in the end, I believe that Bitcoin's adoption starts eating into those other asset classes, and it goes from a 2 trillion asset to a 20, 30, 40 trillion dollar asset eventually.
Absolutely. And I want to talk about something, is you mentioned Saylor, and he said all your models are destroyed, and I think a lot of people were not anticipating his stock to do what it did in 2024. 5x, right? Absolutely incredible. When he started the Bitcoin strategy, he changed the name of his company to Strategy now. I was at $1 billion market cap. Now it's $100 billion. And then, of course, the first company in Japan to kind of follow in the footsteps of Michael Saylor, and it was like a zombie company, essentially. It was like a hotel chain, 48x in the last 12 months alone. So absolutely crazy. David, why is that happening? Why is this phenomenon happening? I mean, why is Michael Saylor's company outperforming NVIDIA? What's going on there?
Well, I think he's unlocked just the ability to do a capital markets arbitrage, right? By, he controlled the stock of his company, the vote, that is, and he was able to set it up where he could issue equity. So again, he started with $500 million of cash in his balance sheet, 2020, bought Bitcoin, began then this capital markets arbitrage strategy of issuing equity, and then tapping into the convertible bond market at 0% financing. And he arbitraged that to do modest, prudent amounts of leverage. I think he's learned good lessons from the Silvergate loan that kind of really nearly bit him a few years ago. And they've just got prudent leverage on this that's generally termed out, that's cheap. They're able to continue to raise equity and cash through that. And they're arbitraging that to turn around and buy Bitcoin as part of the Bitcoin treasury strategy. And I think that, if you, in the future, I think MicroStrategy is going to end up being one of the leading financial service businesses in the world. Think JP Morgan, modern day, where they're the leading bank, you could argue today. And Saylor will own, or MicroStrategy rather, will own 3 to 5% likely of all Bitcoin in the world. And so the old saying, he who has the gold makes the rules, I kind of analogous to this, that when they have that kind of collateral, they're going to be dominant as a financial service provider in being able to borrow against that, to do all sorts of interesting business enterprises from there. And so JP Morgan trades at a 2 times book value today. MicroStrategy trades at just over 2 times book value on its Bitcoin holdings. I think that it's got upside both in terms of its ability to grow its book value as Bitcoin prices goes higher, as it continues to do that arbitrage in the capital markets. I think it's phenomenal what he's unlocked, and he's got a flywheel going, and he has the first mover advantage.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
just to build on that, so people understand that 2x book value valuation that David's quoting, we like to look at it as a fully diluted cap table. So when you look at all of the convertible bonds, all of the executive pay packages, everything, you dilute it all. You dilute all that and you convert all that to common. That's how we're getting to that 2x. That's an important distinction. And then, something that's interesting about this, Nico, is that, and I've talked to Sharish, the treasurer of Strategy, and the company formerly known as MicroStrategy, and he talked about how they had this advantage of buying this underlying asset that was so volatile. So David will remember this back in the day. We used to, in the late 90s, we used to trade these convertible bonds of a company called Qualcomm. Now, you guys know Qualcomm and your chipsets in your phones, but back then, Qualcomm was issuing these bonds just hand over fist, and the entire street would just buy them up, gobble them up, because the volatility of the stock was amazing. So these convert bond traders, they could arbitrage the heck out of that. They would delta hedge it, they would trade around it, they'd have conversion rights. It was awesome. I mean, we were doing that all day, every day. Flash forward to today, now you've got this, company that's got volatility, that volatility is tied to that underlying Bitcoin. And so it's not because the stock is not, Qualcomm was volatile because it was a tech business, it was a fast growing business and all that. But, MicroStrategy is not volatile because of structural underlying issues of the stock. And it's not like the company has problems or anything like that. Or it's not because of illiquidity. It's because of the underlying ownership of Bitcoin. The more Bitcoin they put on the balance sheet, the more volatile they got. The more they follow the volatility of Bitcoin. And suddenly, these bonds have become something that everybody wants to own because of the upside optionality on them. And because of that volatility arbitrage, you can play with delta hedging around it. And for your listeners who don't understand what I'm saying, is that convertible bond traders, they'll buy a convert like that, then they'll short a certain amount of stock. It's called the delta short, which is the optimal amount to short against it, because that convert can be converted into shares eventually. And so you trade around it and you can buy and sell around it. And it's called delta trading and delta hedging, and you can make a lot of money doing that. So they kind of hit on a nirvana there, and they've continued to capitalize on it. But I fully agree with David, and this is why it became one of our core positions at the fund, is that this strategy is going to continue to build on itself, and we do believe that Michael and Strategy will become the main financial center of Wall Street eventually, as Bitcoin takes hold and becomes that undeniable asset that everybody needs to own.
Need liquidity without having to sell your Bitcoin? For more than 6 years now, Ledn has been the trusted choice for Bitcoin-backed lending, with transparency, security, and trust at their core. I absolutely love these guys, and I personally have not only an account with them, but also a loan. And some of the key features that I love about Ledn is the fact that there are no monthly payments. You pay at the end of the term. You also have the ability to roll over the loan as well, and you can pay it back whenever you want. Essentially, what they do is that they help their clients unlock the liquidity of their BTC, allowing you to HODL while still accessing the wealth of your Bitcoin. They've been battle tested with their focus on transparency, security, and trust, allowing them to build a proven track record of client success and security, helping tens of thousands of clients harness the value of their digital assets with confidence and peace of mind. Learn more about what your BTC can do for you. Check out Ledn.io today.